Now at 9, the Pittsburgh City Commission hosts a special meeting to discuss plans to address the rising homeless population. Plus, the city of Joplin officially dedicates a bridge to fallen JPD officer Jake Reed. And a job fair in Baxter Springs, Kansas aims to help workers laid off by the closures of Yellow Freight and King Louie.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Tanya Bach. City officials listen to a plan to address homelessness in the Pittsburgh area. KOAM's Anthony Saviello joins us live in studio to talk about it.
Thanks, Tanya. The Pittsburgh Community Health Center, in collaboration with other organizations, brought forward a plan on how to first understand homelessness and then address it in the area. According to CHC Representative Becky Gray, as of 2022, approximately 112 homeless reside in Pittsburgh. Gray says as the number continues to rise, so does the need to create and execute the plan to provide housing, shelters, and resources for those who live on the street. She also says the current system of getting homeless into the house is predominantly tenant-based housing vouchers. However, those who are homeless and seeking these vouchers, one issue is that the federal law, they are required to be sent out by mail. However, most usually list the Wesley House in Pittsburgh as their address. Gray also pointed out the need for an overnight shelter within Pittsburgh. By not having a shelter, those who live on the street continue to remain there and are less likely to get the help they need. There must also be a system to help those who have been homeless to get back into routine of engaging and involved within the community. Gray then laid out the plan for what they want to see happen to improve this issue, starting with the operation of an overnight shelter, which has already had funds raised but now needs to find a location. The overall goal is to make homelessness, quote, rare and brief. One solution noted was significant positive effects would be the construction of just about 20 to 30 housing units and having continuous review and evaluations to prevent a relapse cycle. Overall, this meeting highlighted the need to provide the services and housing solutions that would greatly alleviate the issue of people on the street. You can view the entire meeting through a link posted on our website. Tanya, back to you.
All right, thanks, Anthony. Now, members of the public came out today for a bridge renaming ceremony honoring a fallen Joplin police officer. The ceremony took place on the newly named Officer Jake Reed Memorial Bridge, located at 1200 East 20th Street. During the ceremony, Officer Reed's family received the Joplin Police Department Medal of Honor. Officer Reed was killed in the line of duty in March of last year. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, it turned out to be a great Tuesday for us today. Temperatures fantastic across the region. 79 was our high, started at 61. 83 is where we should be topping out for this time of the year. And look at our temps now, very comfortable. We're sliding back low to mid 60s. And it looks like as we go through the evening hours, we're going to drop back all the way down into the mid 50s later on tonight. So it is going to be even cooler than what we saw this morning. We do have a few little clouds kind of skirting through mainly our southern counties. Besides that, we do look pretty good and we look pretty calm as we go through the overnight hours. So mid 50s tonight. Watch out for a little bit of fog. We do warm near 80 once again on Wednesday, another nice day. Some rain chances later this week. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. As Baxter Springs, Kansas deals with 2 plant closings, the community is trying to connect job seekers with potential employers. Cherokee County Economic Development Corporation organized a job fair in Baxter Springs. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
Cherokee County is trying to be proactive when it comes to recent plant closings. The Economic Development Corporation hosted a job fair showcasing the job opportunities in Baxter Springs and surrounding areas.
We actually invited employers from Missouri and Oklahoma, since we're so close to the border, to join us at the job fair today. So we're hoping that, those that live in Oklahoma, maybe they can find something a little bit closer to their home. Although we would like to keep them in Kansas, we still invited some employers from out of state.
The job fair started at 1 p.m., but the first hour was dedicated to job seekers who recently experienced layoffs due to Yellow Freight and King Louis closings.
There were several employees, 70 plus, who are set to lose their employment, and so that can't help but have an effect on the economy. So that's kind of the point of the job fair, is that we're hoping if they can continue their employment and not have that loss of income, then that will help our entire county and the whole region as a whole.
The Kansas Works Mobile Center was available for on-site resume building. Former employees of King Louis say the resources here are helpful.
I think it's pretty neat. There was more people than I was expecting here, that's for sure. And like that place, I didn't even hear of that place before, but.
Yes, I do feel more hopeful. The community is coming together for the people at King Louis and for Yellow, and there's a lot of opportunity.
Reporting in Baxter Springs, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
The fair happened at the First Christian Church. Parsons, Kansas organization today hosted a barbecue to help fund some future adventures. Dream Advocacy Group provides resources and experiences for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Some of those experiences come in the form of group trips. Today's event raised money for those trips.
Dream Advocacy to me is the opportunity to get our advocacy group name out there and support other people who cannot stand up for their disability rights.
In addition to the barbecue, there was also a beanbag toss. Well, some Joplin service organizations teamed up today to give blood. The Colonel Travis Hoover Composite Squadron co-sponsored the blood drive with the American Red Cross and the Joplin Veteran of Foreign Wars Post 534 Auxiliary. Air Patrol provides humanitarian assistance in addition to its emergency services mission.
To support the American Red Cross in hoping to elevate their critically low levels of blood supplies that exist right now.
Blood drive happened at the VFW Bingo Hall in Joplin. Well, coming up, the next round of vaccines.
New COVID-19 vaccines could arrive at health clinics in a matter of days. I'm Jackie Ibanez with a look at what protections the updated shots offer. That's all straight ahead.
With COVID-19 cases trending upwards as we prepare to head into the fall, the FDA hopes updated coronavirus vaccines will help prevent cases from surging out of control. Fox News correspondent Jackie Ibanez takes a look at what protections the new shots offer and why doctors say you should also consider getting vaccinated for the flu.
Get ready to roll up your sleeves. New COVID-19 shots could be right around the corner.
I don't want to get sick.
The Food and Drug Administration on Monday approved updated coronavirus vaccines from Pfizer and Moderna. The reformulated shots are designed to protect against the latest Omicron variants, which doctors say are behind the current increase in late summer COVID cases and hospitalizations.
The variants that are going around now are pretty infectious.
Coronavirus immunity decreases over time.
The FDA approved the new vaccines for people 12 years old and up, with emergency use authorized for kids as young as 6 months old. Because the coronavirus is expected to keep mutating over time, health experts say it's possible we'll continue to get updated shots every fall. This comes as they estimate upticks in COVID, RSV, and flu cases heading into the winter.
I suspect we'll see RSV peaking again this winter, along with flu and possibly COVID as well. So COVID cases are going up right now. I imagine they will crest and come back down, but then by the middle of the winter, December, January, I would not be surprised if we see a slight increase in cases again.
Health officials say both the COVID-19 and the flu shot can be given to people during the same visit.
Regardless of whether it's COVID or flu or any of the other viruses, if you don't feel well, the best thing you can do is stay away from other people.
The CDC is expected to meet Tuesday to provide recommendations on who should receive the reformulated shots before they can be rolled out. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
A new study reveals drifting smoke from wildfires could increase the risk of suicide in rural communities. Researchers found as pollution from wildfire smoke increases, So does the rate of suicide by rural white men and rural adults with no college education, because they're more likely to work outdoors. Scientists also found smoke pollution increases have no impact on suicide rates among those who live in cities. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, Pitt State volleyball kicks off conference play against the Newman Jets. Sports director John Dales will have the highlights.
Well, it turned out to be a great Tuesday for us today. We had quite a bit of sunshine, temperatures fantastic, upper 70s to right around 80 for afternoon highs. It looks pretty good right now. It's a nice shot of the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. We have partly cloudy skies, and that's what we're going to see as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. All right, rainfall since midnight, only 2 1/100 of an inch, but we got some decent amounts yesterday. For the month, 6/10. For the year, a little over 22, but we should be at 33, so we're over 11 inches behind where we should be for this time of the year. So we need the rain whenever we can get it. So if we check out our drought tracker, still our southern counties, you guys are doing pretty good. Once you get north of I-44, I-49 up into Barton, Vernon County, it gets a little bit worse. And then out across southeastern Kansas, especially our far western counties. Temps right now looking great, 65 in Stockton, 65 in Neosho, Grand Lake sitting at 67, Pittsburgh 63, Iola is checking in at 62 degrees. And we're going to drop back into the middle 50s later on tonight. We're going to get near that dew point, which is sitting at 55, so that will put our relative humidity nearly 100% with a little bit of moisture on the ground and really no wind. We are going to get some patchy fog out there late tonight. So 61 by 11, 55 by 7, some morning fog, back to 69 by 10 a.m. You can see some clouds kind of skirting through our far southern counties, but besides that, we look pretty good. Really any thicker clouds or rain is staying off to our south. And if we go out toward the west, our upper level flow, you can see a couple little wrinkles. There are some weak waves which are going to head toward us later on in the week, giving us some chances to get some showers in here. All right, let's stop in the morning. Down to 51, Nevada 54, Neosho, Parsons about 56, 54 in Miami. Partly sunny skies, mid 70s by noon, and most of us will top out 79, 80 during the afternoon. About 81 or 2 in Nevada, about 79 Neosho, 80 in Welch, Chanute up to about 79. Partly cloudy skies for us tomorrow night. Back down, mid to upper 50s once again. Then as we head into Thursday afternoon, we warm up very similar, right around 80 for afternoon highs, partly cloudy skies across the region. All right, day planner, some fog in the morning, 74 by noon, 77 by 4 p.m., high temp, 79, 80 degrees. Wednesday looks fantastic once again. 80 on Thursday, let's go 81 on Friday. A few showers get in here Friday and Saturday, but we do warm into lower 80s, 85 Sunday, 86 Monday, 88 Tuesday. So heating up a bit next week, but overall, not that bad.
Yeah, not bad temp. I would get rid of that one that has a 9 on it, and
Yeah,
then we're
I know.
golden.
Yeah.
Well, I guess 2 of them do. Get rid of both of those. All right, I like the 50s tonight. That'll be nice.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, coming up, with a possible auto workers strike looming, we'll see what it could mean for people looking to buy a car. Well, Google is set to defend itself in a landmark antitrust trial that began today in Washington, D.C. In its initial complaint, the U.S. government alleged in part that Google pays billions a year to device manufacturers such as Apple, LG, Motorola, and Samsung, and browser developers like Mozilla and Opera to be their default search engine. The government also claims in many cases Google also pays to block those companies from dealing with competitors. Google denies any wrongdoing. Apple today unveiled its next generation of iPhones and watches during its annual reveal event. The new iPhone 15 lineup features enhancements in its chips, battery, and cameras. It also will use USB-C charging cables that are already used by iPads and Macs, already the standard in Europe. The iPhone 15 starts at $799. while the iPhone 15 Plus base price is $899. Well, Thursday at midnight, that's the deadline to avoid a possible strike and reach an agreement between the United Auto Workers Union and some major car makers. Union workers say they're prepared to walk off the assembly line this Friday. Cole Higgins explains what a possible strike could mean for car buyers.
If you're in the market for a new car with the United Auto Workers strike looming, one question you may be asking is this the right time to buy? GM, Ford, and Stellantis automakers are the big three that may be affected. A strike against all three companies could be a more than $5 billion hit to the economy after just 10 days, according to an estimate from the Anderson Economic Group.
I am sort of urging a measure of caution with respect to panicking about this situation. We need to see what happens. We need to see whether there can be a last-minute deal.
Mark Hamrick from Bankrate says if a strike does happen, there are two questions to consider. Which automakers are affected and how long will the shutdown last?
I think there's going to be an ample supply of vehicles for at least a number of weeks, if indeed a strike or sort of the worst possible outcome does present itself.
Industry analysts say it comes down to inventory. It just depends on what you're buying.
There's still a shortage in the most popular models, and those are the people and places that we're really going to feel it the most.
Pat Ryan, the CEO of Copilot, says while some models have longer wait times, if you're willing to be flexible, you will have options.
In certain brands, like the Stellantis brands, you know, the Dodges, the Jeeps, and the Ram trucks, there's plenty of supply.
If you are picky about your make and model, Ryan's advice is to either buy now or wait until the strike is over.
We've continued to see the car market be very, very strong, both new and used, in spite of the incredible increase in prices, both nominally and the even higher increase in monthly payments.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Cole Higgins.
Up next, we'll learn how much someone just paid for one of the most iconic TV homes. Believe it or not, this groovy piece of real estate sold for below asking price. The home, famous for its exterior featured on the Brady Bunch, recently sold for $3.2 million, nearly 42% below asking. That's not even how much HGTV paid for the property in 2018 before investing thousands for a complete remodel. According to the Zillow listing, the home was meticulously rebuilt and designed to replicate the set of the 1970s sitcom. Well, 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. How a shortage of referees is impacting local sports teams. Plus, Pittsburgh Community Schools gives the public a chance to view new renovations to the middle school. School sports are back to an old issue, a referee shortage. In the region, every week, about 6 football games are being played on Thursdays or Saturdays for that reason. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has the story.
In the very first game of the season, the Joplin High School football team couldn't play on the traditional Friday night. The reason? There were not enough officials to cover the game. While the Thursday night game didn't impact attendance, it affected the players.
Having to play on a Thursday, kind of changed that week. We had less preparation from the week before, and so being able to make those adjustments was probably the biggest issue.
According to the people that we spoke to, the referee shortage is an ongoing problem that the Joplin High School football game just brought to the spotlight. But other sports also have to deal with it. Libby Mann, Joplin High School junior, plays soccer among other sports. She says the game changes when there are 2 instead of 3 referees on the field.
You kind of get the idea that you have to be a little more grittier, I feel like, because the other girls are going to be more aggressive if they're not being looked at the whole time.
The concern about the referee shortage increases as the temperature decreases.
When you get a game that has to be postponed because of snow or something like that, you need to be careful on what nights you put it back on, you reschedule it on, because there may not be officials available that night.
So you might have 12 games one night and only have enough officials to cover 9 of those games.
The shortage could be related with the way coaches and supporters treat referees.
People have kind of gotten out of control at some of the contests, and And who wants to go out and get yelled at for an hour and a half?
The official is everybody's favorite punching bag, which is not fair.
While affected by the shortage, Joplin High School is taking action to support the referees and umpires.
We work hard with our coaches on learning how to properly communicate. You know, we need all of our fans to remember that this is education-based athletics. They're there to support our team and our students.
In Joplin, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
According to the Joplin Umpire Association, this has been a trend in the last 5 years. They're encouraging people who might be interested in becoming a referee or an umpire to contact them. Pittsburgh Community Schools today gave the public an inside look at the newly renovated middle school. The renovations are centered around the original portion of the building that was built in 1921. They added a modern science lab, an ADA-compliant elevator, and renovated the school's auditorium.
It is really neat. It's really neat to see a few of the teachers left from when I was here, but it's really neat to even see the classrooms where I was in that classroom and now you have that same classroom, and it is very surreal.
An open space is definitely a better learning environment. Whenever we were here, everything was all just classrooms unless it was like PE or something. So yeah, I think it would be better.
The renovations were paid for through a voter-approved bond. Well, you've heard the expression, going to the dogs. Well, it looks like parts of Pittsburgh are going to the goats. The city of Pittsburgh hired about 36 goats to help clear away brush from the city's parks this week. The four-legged lawnmowers come from Oscar Mike Goat Rental. For park staff, the addition seemed like a logical solution.
I hope the community realizes that we're trying to do something that's beneficial for us. It's we can do a lot of things with people and equipment, but sometimes you have to think outside the box and try to figure out ways to get things done.
The goats were brought in to take down invasive weeds and hazardous vegetation while reducing the city's chemical footprint. And he can bring them over to my yard next. Well, challengers seek rewrite of Missouri abortion rights ballot measures, calling them misleading. Lawyers yesterday argued over the Secretary of State's summary of the amendment. The summary says the amendments would allow dangerous and unregulated abortions until live birth. The Missouri ACLU says the amendments would enshrine reproductive rights in the Constitution, including the right to abortion and birth control. A Missouri judge is expected to rule on the ballot summaries next week. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has his hands full with restless Republicans who are itching to axe the federal budget, and others who are eager to launch an impeachment investigation into the Biden's business dealings. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera in Washington has the story.
The House will be in order.
Wasting no time on the House's first day back from summer recess, Speaker Kevin McCarthy is targeting President Biden and endorsing a formal impeachment inquiry against him.
I would encourage the president and his team to fully cooperate with this investigation in the interests of transparency.
McCarthy is pointing to the investigations led by the Republican-led Judiciary and Oversight Committees to justify the move.
We have found that President Biden did lie to the American people about his own knowledge of his family's foreign business dealings.
The White House says the GOP probes have turned up no evidence of wrongdoing by the president.
They're doing it because the extreme far-right members of that caucus are demanding it of Speaker McCarthy.
And Democrats are dismissing McCarthy's decision.
Ooh, don't do it.
Even some Republicans are skeptical.
I'm going to get a briefing later in the week on what evidence links President, at the time, Vice President Joe Biden, to Hunter Biden's activities. I haven't seen that link yet.
This is not the only issue Speaker McCarthy has to tackle, with a potential government shutdown looming at the end of the month. Conservatives want deeper cuts, which could make a compromise between the House and Democratic-controlled Senate difficult.
I once again implore House Republican leadership to reject all-or-nothing tactics.
Congressional leaders are aiming to pass a short-term solution before the federal government runs out of money on September 30th. But some hardline GOP members are threatening to oppose it if it doesn't include their demands. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
North Korea's dictator Kim Jong-un is in the far east of Russia to meet with President Vladimir Putin. They were expected to talk about supplying arms to Russia for its war in Ukraine. The White House has warned Pyongyang it will pay a price if it strikes an arms deal with Moscow, but has not said what exactly that price will be. A bit later, regulating the future of technology.
Will the rewards of AI outweigh the risks? That's what lawmakers are asking some of the biggest names in tech this week. I'm Rebecca Castor in Washington. I've got the details coming up.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice Tuesday for us today. High temps right around 80 during the afternoon, but we have cooled off. It's pretty nice out there. 64 in Carthage, 63 in Chautauqua. We have Fort Scott, 67, Monetta, hair cooler at 64 degrees. Most of us are going to back down mid-50s later on tonight, but pretty much clear skies. Once our temperature approaches the dew point, we'll get near 100% humidity with calm winds. We're going to get some patchy fog out there. So if you are going to be driving around, especially after midnight into the morning hours, watch out for the fog. 61 by 11, 55 by 7, back to 69 by 10 a.m. We do have a few clouds skirting our southern counties. Besides that, not a whole bunch is going on. And if we look out toward the west, we do have a couple weak little waves. You can see a couple kinks in the upper level flow. So that will actually give us some rain chances later in the week, but until then, we look okay. All right, so let's go through time. I'm going to stop it for you 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. 52 in Iola, 54 in Welch, 54 in Carthage, so kind of a cool start. We get into the 70s by noon. We'll stop. Late afternoon, 80 in Lamar, 77 in Monette, 80 in Miami, about 79, 80. In just about every single location. Partly cloudy skies for us tomorrow night. We back down into the 50s once again. And then on Thursday, very similar, high temps right around 80 degrees by the time we head into Thursday afternoon. So we actually get a couple really nice days. Here's your day planner, 55 to start with that patchy fog, 74 by noon, 77 by 4. High temp, similar or right about what we saw today of 79 degrees. Let's go down the road. So this is going to be Friday. We have one of those weak waves trying to push in. And this could give us a few showers Friday night into Saturday morning as this wave passes by. But I think Saturday afternoon looks okay. Sunday looks good, but notice the temperatures. They start to slowly creep back up as we go into early next week. So we'll be into the mid 80s by the time we get to about Monday, and then we continue upward a bit as we go through next week. 79 tomorrow, 80 on Thursday, 81 on Friday with a few random pop-up showers, 83 Saturday. Any rain we do have, it should not be very widespread, so hopefully it will not affect like high school football games Friday evening. Sunday back to 85, 86, Monday 88, on Tuesday approaching 90 by the middle of next week with some pop-up thunderstorms returning. And of course, we did get a little bit of rain yesterday, but we could use any rain anytime because we're so far behind.
Yeah, we do need that rain.
We do. Not much this week.
And I'm loving nice day and nice for the next 2 days.
I know, it looks pretty good. Looks really good.
Very nice. All right, thanks, Doug. Well, the Red Cross says about 10,000 people are missing in Libya, and officials say at least 2,000 have died after torrential rain caused flooding that led to broken dams destroying communities. Search and rescue teams are on the ground, and more are on the way. Well, coming up in sports, COC rivals Carthage and Webb City square off on the softball diamond. Plus highlights from Pittsburgh State Volleyball's conference opener against Newman. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
We're in the thick of the fall sports season, and that means a lot more than just football. Pitt State Volleyball began its season just over a week ago. It hosted a tournament this past weekend, and this evening, the Gorillas opened their conference slate. They're at home taking on MIAA foe Newman, and the Gorillas jump out to an early lead in the first set, and this spike by Seville Gates gives PSU a 22-10 lead in the first set. Couple serves later, Jerica Jackson gets the kill, and the Gorillas take that first set. Jets showed some sign of life, though, in the second set. Natalie Meyer with the block here for Newman. It would lead 11-6. The Gorillas rattle off 7 straight points, though, including this kill from Janavi Thurston. And the Gorillas take the second set as well. More of the same in the third. Ivy, Fink, and Thurston keep the point alive. Very long rally. Then, eventually, Fink sets Thurston up. Big time spike. Gorillas win their MIAA opener in straight sets over Newman. Carthage and Webb City softball matchup today. They're coming in on opposite ends of the spectrum. The Tigers have lost 4 of their last 5. The Cardinals, winners in 5 of their last 6, entering this afternoon. Conference rivals meeting up for the first time this season. Starting out in the top of the first, Ashlyn Brust rips one down the line into left field for Carthage. He reaches with a single. Next batter, Brooklyn Dolan Main hammers a pitch to left center. That'll drop down for a double. Brust would come in to score later in the inning, so 1-0 Tigers. Same score in the second. Addison Brown sends one into left field for Webb City. She would get stranded at first, though. Still 1-0 in the third. Addison Wallace gets one of her 6 strikeouts on the day. She'd go 7, just allowing 2 hits. Carthage really started to rip this one open in the fourth. Base is loaded. J.C. Bayless up the middle. Everybody safe. Still loaded. Brust at the plate again. Hot shot up the middle. Everybody moves up 1 base again. Tigers score 8 runs in the fourth. They go on the road and win 9-1. Elsewhere in the conference, Neosho also wins big on the road today. The Kennard sisters lead the way for a Wildcat victory. Harley throws 4 scoreless innings of 1-run ball. Her sister Autumn has 5 hits, including a 3-run homer. And winning on the road would be a theme today. Seneca, 1 day removed from getting its first win of the season at Carl Junction, takes down McDonald County 9-6. Abby Jamros picks up the win pitching and gets 3 RBIs off a triple and a double at the plate. First time for me seeing a PSU volleyball game. First off, a lot of good crowd support that, I don't know that I really expected that, but Gorilla Nation showing up at the volleyball court as well. And conference opener, they looked dominant. Really never struggled in that one. The Gorilla volleyball team is fun to watch. They've always been very fun to watch every year. It's a fun atmosphere too for the fans. Like the big screen that they have up, even just their PA announcer, the way that he describes when they win points is pretty cool. All right, volleyball was my sport in high school. Love it. All right, thanks, John. We'll be back with more news after this. The rewards of artificial intelligence may be outweighed by the risk, and Congress and the White House are taking no chances. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor has more from Washington.
With Congress back in session, it's hitting the ground running on AI.
This effort must be bipartisan, and we need outside help if we want to write effective AI policies.
That's why lawmakers are calling on the biggest names in tech. In a hearing Tuesday, senators are questioning industry leaders about the best ways to regulate the emerging technology and protect Americans from its possible dangers.
Make no mistake, there will be regulation. The only question is, how soon and what?
Microsoft President Brad Smith agrees a regulatory blueprint is necessary for AI to remain under control.
Let's keep AI under the control of people. It needs to be safe. And to do that, as we've encouraged, there need to be safety breaks.
Meanwhile, the White House welcomed the heads of 8 big tech companies Tuesday, including Adobe and IBM, announcing a partnership it says will help drive the safe development of AI. The companies committed to ensuring products are safe before releasing them to the public, building systems that put security first, and earning the public's trust. Wednesday, some of the biggest tech titans, including Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, will be at the Capitol to speak with lawmakers as part of a closed-door AI forum hosted by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
MGM Resorts International say its gaming floors are back in business after a cybersecurity issue caused an outage at resorts around the U.S. The issue began Sunday and impacted the company's reservation systems and casino floors. MGM says it has manual protocols in place to help guests in times of computer disruption. The company is investigating the cause of the issue. Coming up, we'll learn about a machine and its inventor, whose goal is to collect trash from rivers before it gets to the ocean. We know plastic pollution is one of the most serious issues facing the world's oceans, and one young inventor is proposing the best way to combat the growing problem. It's starting with rivers. Ben Tracy gives us an in-depth look at a high-tech barge that's scooping tons of plastic from our seas.
It's like a vacuum cleaner for the river. It's a good-looking vacuum cleaner.
This is Interceptor 007, the not-so-secret agent of trash collection at the mouth of this waterway in Los Angeles.
We have prevented 77 tons of trash from flowing into the ocean just this past winter.
Boyan Slot is the 29-year-old founder of a Dutch nonprofit called the Ocean Cleanup. It's trying to collect 90% of floating plastic pollution, including cleaning up the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which is twice the size of Texas. It is now focusing on rivers because its research shows just 1% of the world's rivers are responsible for 80% of all plastic flowing into the ocean.
So if we tackle that 1% of rivers, we think we can have a tremendous impact in a relatively short amount of time.
He's deployed 11 interceptors, costing as much as $650,000 on rivers around the world, and plans for hundreds more. On this river in Guatemala, which looks more like a landfill, the device collected 2.5 million pounds of trash in just 3 weeks.
Welcome to my super yacht. It's very nice.
He took us on board the LA Interceptor, which runs on solar power and is fully autonomous until it needs to be emptied. They had to do that 15 times this past winter as trash flowed into the river during powerful storms. These photos show what LA County says was a 75% reduction in trash on nearby beaches once the Interceptor arrived.
We want the Interceptor to stay here as long as plastic flows through this river and would otherwise end up in the ocean.
Which means 007 could be on this assignment for a very long time.
That's pretty cool. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We leave you with video of the eruption of the Kilauea volcano on Hawaii's Big Island. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.